All right, I am inside of apartment number 6. I'm located at 1806 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, California, inside of apartment number 6. This is my private residence. This is technically referred to for purposes of the where the government is engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. This is legally referred to as the private space, the targeted individual's private space where the government is maintaining criminal surveillance in concert with the people of the state. And you are reaching those legal conclusions based on the ongoing documentation that is establishing the abnormal and unnatural environment. It is literally referred to as the specific environment. This is a facilitating venue where the criminal pattern of conduct by a public entity is underway. And that is why this is capturing another instance of it. This is the light source that is hovering directly over the roof of my apartment. Pay attention. The light source is not over any other apartment building. And as you are looking at it from this vantage point over my window, over the covering above my bedroom, you're paying attention to the fact that there's at no point where I'm ever like looking at the light source like at a distance over some other venue, for example. The only time that happens is when the entity is engaging in what is feigning a rising sun or feigning a setting sun, which always remains in alignment with me. So I want to be clear with regard to what is group stalking. Group stalking is the demonic behavioral pattern of stalking in the path. The entity is maintaining presence in the path, which is literally the physical presence in and around the path of the targeted individual, and the entity is doing this as a group on a constant nonstop basis. Okay. It is also stalking in the path with light. The entity is doing so with literally the light source, which I'm capturing at 2:36 p.m. And I'm going to speak to the phenomenon on more than one grounds in a second. And then the entity is also engaging what is maintaining presence in the path with audible activity. And this is accomplished for purposes of massive monitoring by a group, by an entity, by a people, by amplification. So the entity concentrates audible activity as to where I'm at physically, for example, and the entity also engages in what is a massive form of amplified audible activity that is amplified. So meaning amplified insofar as the volume is louder than it naturally would be. And this is vivid when I've shown you the distance, for example, the state is located in a helicopter. And that's the group stalker that wants to appear disinterested, that wants to try to contradict the pattern of conduct as it's shown. There is no pattern of conduct. As you're looking at the entity in a helicopter that's stalking in the path and they're in the specific environment, they're creating activity. Even my voice is activity. The elements of monitoring still remain. But again, the entity that is monitoring, the entity that is, again, incapable of anticipating a legal framework for its prosecution, which is again, it's inevitable and there's no going back, it's exposed. The entity engages in what is appearing to be at a great distance, but yet I am able to hear it at a loud volume either wherever I'm at. And so this is inside of my private residence or inside of my office as I've been documenting it as of late inside of, while I remain in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is nothing other than a facilitating venue. Understand the big picture. Do not be confused. When I'm speaking about a facilitating venue, I'm only remaining at an address, and I'm speaking in terms of what is the position of the ordinary targeted individual. Do not be confused with regard to what is the facilitating venue. Los Angeles itself is a facilitating venue. The state of California is a facilitating venue. And how is that? Because no matter where I go, no matter what the address is in California, the entity is maintaining this impossible the impossible occurrence of what is a light source supposedly representing the sun. Okay, so I want to be clear on that. The city of Los Angeles is literally a facilitating venue that I'm using for purposes of comparing what has already been created as part of the record. And so you have at 2:36 p.m. I am reminding you about documentation that is captured while I am at Economy Inn, a third-party facilitating venue in Ontario, California, on Euclid Avenue, nearest the 60 freeway. And the light source is hovering directly above my hotel room in the city of Ontario, where I remained at this same exact time. And it is maintaining presence in the same exact manner in its zenith. Okay, this is speaking to one aspect of what is impossible. It is also impossible it's impossible that it's occurring and that I'm capturing it, but I am, because this is outside of the character of the sun. This is not what the sun does. The sun is not hovering over Economy Inn in Ontario, over the sky space in Ontario. That's not what's happening. This is speaking to what is maintaining presence over me where I'm at for however long I'm there. And that is speaking to the other aspect of the phenomenon, because you are looking at my bedroom window. You already know that this morning, the same address, the same apartment, The entity was hovering over the edge of that window, which was this morning. Okay, the entity was aiming the light source as though it was rising in alignment to my window. This is the same property, and it's 2:41 p.m. That is speaking to what is not the sun as well. The sun is a gaseous ball of fire. It's in constant movement. It is not remaining stationary at one address. This is the pattern of conduct where federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. And that's why you're looking at what is impossible. What you are also mindful of is because the pattern of conduct has already been established and you already know that this isn't sunlight and that that's not possibly the sun, because if that's the sun that's over my hotel room at Economy Inn in Ontario, California, there's no vantage point. You wouldn't see that sun over my room. That's an impossibility. And you are also understanding what would not be sunlight, but you also know that this isn't sunlight. It's magnified. It's got some sort of double appearance somehow when there's only one, and it's magnified shooting like a laser. All right. And it's shared with what is other iterations of impossible light, which is magnified. There's no sunlight. But again, entertaining the illusion, there would be no sunlight in here if that's the sun that's over Economy Inn, but it also has a tendency to be directly over my head. That is what is group stalking. It's serving the setting for group stalking, and that's readily identifiable. It's demonic. This is demonic, and it's the prima facie case of federal group stalking and monitoring. This is the venue where the Los Angeles Police Department is group stalking, and the entity is doing it in concert with the people. This is why you're creating and maintaining this environment, which is a scientific impossibility, and the two are not existing at the same time. I will remind you, go ahead and take a look at the video, and it's not just this timestamp. I'm just giving you one example as I'm showing you what has already been established. They're group stalking in Los Angeles because the state of California is group stalking. The entity is engaging in that which is impossible as you document what is the maintenance of what is not a natural environment whatsoever. And then the entity is engaging in what is continuously engaging in what is clearly unnatural and impossible and blatant criminal conduct. Now, where this is a government that's engaging in that, that's speaking to a great intensification of a federal prosecution by the people of the state who are engaged in criminal facilitation. This is why this environment is present. This is documentation of what is a perverted sex offender, monitoring the targeted individual on a ceaseless basis in the private space, doing so in concert with the people of the state who are, again, sex offenders of an unprecedented nature, engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. And this is also terrorism. It is currently 2:43 p.m. and this is P.O.C.